Hello, I'm Chris Geehan from Hyperduck Soundworks. I'm the composer and sound designer for Under the Ocean, and I'm here to walk you through update number 8, which is the audio update, and it's a big one. So what I've been doing for the last couple of months is tweaking a lot of the current sounds within the game. This included improved balance on a lot of the sound effects currently in the game, plus additional sound effects for actions that were previously without any audio. That said, there are plenty of sounds that are currently being made, tested and tweaked, so rest easy, there is much more to come. However, the biggest part of this update is something that the game has really lacked in content since the beginning, and that is music. I've been writing themes for particular areas of the game, namely the beaches, the caverns and the jungle. In addition to this, we've been working hard to not only make the music fit the scenery, but to fit each situation that the player encounters as well. We've developed a dynamic music system, which means that the music will constantly be evolving throughout your gameplay experience. So let me explain. Each theme has 4 versions, and I'm going to run through them for you now. The first is Exploration, which by default is the first theme you should usually hear when you're in any of the areas, whether it's the beaches, the caverns, or the jungle. This is the subtle, more subdued version of the theme and doesn't really spark any adventurous tones just yet, allowing the player to calmly explore the surroundings and gather food and materials for the adventure ahead of them. The second version of this theme is Building. This relates to anything you do with building and crafting, and is much like the Exploration version of the score, but with more adventurous tones to it, adding more percussion and changing the melodies and arrangements of some of the previous instruments in Exploration. The third version is Danger. Now this occurs when your life is threatened in the game. Usually when you get sick, have been fatally hurt or badly attacked by a wild animal. This leaves most of the melodic nature in the themes behind and goes much more percussive and dark. And this is to better represent the danger that you're in. If you hear that nice music fading away and the dark percussive bed of sound rising, you can be sure that you're in trouble, so be careful. The fourth and final version is Sparse. This is basically an ambient equivalent of the theme, being sparse and without much of the driving elements in each piece. This is useful for giving the player a break from listening to the score. Another thing we aim to have is less of the music playing so often, so it will cue up here and there, but the ambience of the world is equally important to us. So some ambient tracks with distant percussive elements have been made for each area as well, based on the instruments that are used in those themes. The music doesn't loop, and this will allow the player to enjoy the ambience within the game, much like that in World of Warcraft, where music might play as you enter an area, but then leave you for a while to let you sink into the ambience of the world. Not only does each area have these 3 sets for each theme, but each version changes every time you hear it. So different instruments will come in each time, changing the theme slightly again and again. The reason we're able to do this is because we split every instrument up and onto its own audio file, allowing us to queue up an array of arrangements we want for each theme and each set, sets being the Exploration, Building and Danger categories I was talking about earlier. In the future, this will give us a lot more room to further expand the music you now hear in the game, which means I can keep evolving the themes within the game again and again. With new instruments and rhythms and new arrangements, you'll always be hearing something new every time. In future updates, I'll add in more stems to these themes which are now in the game, and I'll be expanding the music in many different ways, so consider this merely the beginning of the living and breathing dynamic world of sound that is the Under the Ocean soundtrack. I'm just going to leave you with one of the new pieces of music from Under the Ocean. I'll just say thanks very much for supporting us, and please continue to support us, and we'll see you on the next update. Bye!